Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 9 of our custom pizza truck build. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, I will put a link in the description below for those. In the last episode, I finished up all of the metal fabrication, but I didn't fully weld everything. It was all just tack welded. So let's jump right into what ended up being about 8 hours of constant C welding to get this box truck finished so that I can then paint it. All right, guys, it is a beautiful day in Spokane, and I have got the truck parked outside. All of the metal fabrication is completed. The next step is going to be adding an etching primer to everything that is bare metal. You see we got it all seam welded everywhere. It is looking absolutely tip-top, and this is the first chance I have had to see this bronze color totally finished out here in the sun, and it looks fan-freaking-tastic. Check out how this rear bumper came out. I did add that little reflector at the bottom, gives it a nice little professional look if I do say so myself. But man, I am just so happy with this color. Usually when you use a single stage paint, it's a little bit like hazy on top when it's a heavy metallic, but man, this looks really shiny. It looks like a base coat clear coat. I could not be happier with that. Let me show you the bumper up front. Here's how this looks. Very nice. Truck is a little bit dusty, but otherwise looking good. So the paint that I'm going to be using for this is actually just some good old rattle can. This is Duplicolor self-etching primer. It's a wonderful primer. The reason I'm not shooting this with my proper paint gun is because the way the spray pattern is, it's more of like a fan out of my spray gun, and it's a little bit difficult to get some of these odds and ends and kind of weird angles. So I'll just shoot it with the rattle can. The purpose of the self-etching primer is just that, to etch the metal. So it is a acidic paint that will put these micro etches into the metal, really just to break that surface layer so that when you do paint it with the actual paint, it adheres to it a lot better. If you don't use an etching primer on metal, it'll eventually just peel or flake off, and obviously we don't want that. So enough talking, let's get painting. All right, guys, this is what the shipment is looking like outside of their boxes. We have a refrigerator for underneath the pizza oven. We have a prep service station. We have a display fridge. Now, this fridge is going to be tucked in this corner here so that people can have easy access to all of the drinks. I'm waiting for a shipment with a sink for right there. The prep service station will be right there. And then, of course, the oven in the back. For the flooring, I've got some black and white checker tiles made by WeatherTech. And then I've got my little electrical panel right here that will then be hooked up to our Cummins generator. Now, unfortunately, this is not actually a Cummins powered generator. It is a Cummins branded generator with an Onan engine in it. Now, this has about the same reviews as the Honda generators, but at a third of the cost. So a nice little savings there. Over here, we have our ceiling tiles. We have our light fixtures. We have our Edison bulbs inside here. This is our fresh water hose that will then fill up this white tank, and that will be pressurized from a 12-volt RV style water pump. And then the wastewater will discharge into this black tank, and it will be heated by this, a little mini tank water heater. But the first thing I'm going to be working on is the table for the pizza oven, and I'm going to build that with this, my 4-inch square tubing. So let's get started.
Is that for real?
438 pounds. Yeah, no wonder that's so heavy.
I said 330.
I thought it was around 350. 1, 2, 3.
Keep on it. Yeah.
Well, let's see now. What's it say? 174, yeah, 174, 76. That's nuts. I love this scale. All right, guys, the table is looking fantastic. We are almost ready for the 2,500 pound pizza oven that will live on top. That is still about 2 weeks away from getting here, and before I can mount that, I do need to paint this, and I'm going with a satin black finish. But before I can do the paint on the side here, I do want to weld up some type of a structure to hold the cords of wood. Now, this gets mounted to the shipping container through these plates that I made. You see there's 2 bolt holes on each one, so we have a total of 8 bolts. They are 1/2 inch grade 8 bolts that will go all the way through the shipping container, and then I'll use some large washers and locking nuts on the underside to make sure everything is secure. The oven itself gets mounted through 4 bolts that actually come from the underside up, but I will wait to drill those holes until the oven is actually here. While we wait for that oven, let's get that shipping container painted. Guys, it is a beautiful but slightly windy day out here in Spokane. I've got the truck outside and I'm going to be painting this. Now, I am not going to be painting this with an automotive style paint. I'm going to be painting this with something that will match the current shipping container paint as closely as possible. And the paint they use is really like an industrial exterior paint. And so I'm going with this bare exterior latex-based paint that I will shoot through my Greco paint gun. So luckily, because this is an airless paint sprayer, I shouldn't have too much issue with this little bit of wind that we've got. So I get a nice little coat over it. The nice thing is, because this is a shipping container, the way they're painted from the factory is with a paint gun, and then anything that needs touch-ups is just done with a brush. So luckily I can do the same and have it match up as closely as possible. So let's get this thing painted. Now the next step for the truck is going to be getting the ceiling tiles installed, and I will be doing that with a combination of angle iron and 2x4s, but you will have to wait for next week for that because this is all the time I've got today. So thanks for making it this far. I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.